Welcome everybody to the Next Level Contractor channel and One Exam Prep. And today we're joined by Andrew Gertz at One Exam Prep. And today we are talking about how to pass the NASCLA Master Electrical Exam in 2026. And we're going to break it all down for you. Welcome, Andrew.
Hey, no, thank you for having me back.
Great. Okay, so let's jump right into it. Looks like these are this is a map of the participating states for the electrical exam. I see that it looks like there are 19 participating agencies. Can you elaborate on that?
Yeah, so officially 19 participating agencies, right? But there's kind of an asterisk on that, okay? Folks watching this video or folks who are familiar with the NASCLA, the general contractor exam, right? They see the state shaded, oh, it's accepted in that state. Not the case with the electrical. And that's because there's actually three different NASCLA administered electrical exams. There's the Master Unlimited, the residential. Those are the two for contractor licensing. And there's also a journeyman. So you'll notice some of the states shaded in different colors with different symbols in them. And if you look at the legend there, the shaded circle, they accept the master exam. The open circle, they accept the journeyman exam, and the X, they accept the residential. So you see that state there right next to Texas. Which one's that? That's New Mexico right there.
Louisiana.
On the left-hand side, New Mexico.
Oh, New Mexico. Okay.
Yep. So you see it. New Mexico has all three symbols. So New Mexico accepts all three exams, right? Now, okay. Alternatively, you see Florida down there with just the X, right? So Florida is just accepting the residential exam.
Got it. Okay. Very interesting. And it seems that, so people should be constantly checking the map because more states can be added. NASCLA is actively trying to get more states involved in the program, from what I understand.
Yes, that's correct. For the electrical exams as well as the construction exam, NASCLA is aggressively looking to expand.
Okay, great. All right, so let's break down. Let's talk about the exams themselves. They are considered open book, but what does that actually mean for someone preparing for them?
All right. So, open book multiple choice exams. Now, these are fairly larger exams. If you're familiar with a more basic master electrician's exam in, say, Texas, you're just bringing in the National Electrical Code, right? Whereas on this, the NASCLA exam, you're bringing in 11 books. So it's a decent number of books. And you see there, you'll have 100 questions, 270 minutes. So you break that down, that's less than 3 minutes a question with 11 books in front of you. So open book, the answers are in the books, but the trick to the whole thing is, can you find that answer? Can you reference that answer before you run out of time?
Right. And that seems, 75% on an exam is, makes a big difference on top of 70%. That's you got to really be on your game for that.
Oh yeah. So most, generally most contractor exams, it's a 70% to pass. NASCLA, the master, the unlimited electrical is a 75. So,
right.
That's on a 100-question exam. That's 5 questions.
Yeah, for sure. You talk about professionally highlighting and tabbing your books. So why is that such a big advantage compared to someone trying to tabbing it yourself?
It's about the efficiency of reference. Again, you have less than 3 minutes a question. So if your books are professionally tabbed and highlighted, they're done right. The most commonly referenced pertinent information is highlighted. None of the tabs are overlapping. They're all usable, right? I've seen I've been doing this a long time, seen all different kinds of books, and folks show up to class and they have a book where looks like thousands of tabs. They're all overlapping, right? It's impossible. They're useless at that point because you can't read what any of them say. What good are they, right?
Right.
The other thing is these are permanently affixed tabs. If they're not, they won't let you into the testing center with them. So if you're tabbing your book, right, you're in a rush, your kid's pulling at your pants leg to play catch or whatever, you put a tab on the wrong page, you can't get it off, So
right.
Professionally tabbed and highlighted, it's done right and it gives you the best chance.
Right. Yeah, I know you said a lot of students make the mistake of trying to read every book cover to cover. So, I mean, what does an effective study plan look like for these exams?
Right. So again, you have a lot of books, and these are thick books, right? And
Mhm.
nobody knows the exact questions you're going to see. All that's known about the exam is the scope, the number of questions from specific subject areas. So one, if you can read these books cover to cover and memorize the information, you work for NASA, and we landed on Mars 10 years ago. You did a great job. Thank you. Right. Um, it's about focused prep, right? Focusing on the areas in these books that are going to come up on your exam. Become familiar with what keywords are coming out of those areas. So on the test, when you read the question, you recognize the keywords, it's very familiar. You have the built-in muscle memory. Oh, when I see those keywords, I'm picking up my OSHA book, I'm going to this section, that's where I'll find the information I need.
Right. Got it. Makes sense. Okay. Um, let's take a look at a video that you prepared for us.
Right. So on that subject of focus prep, this is what a prep course looks like. One exam preps prep course for the NASCLA Master Unlimited Electrical Exam. 98.7% success rate with this course. And it's all about making you a master of efficiently referencing the books. So you see there, it's book by book practice tests, laser focused in on your exam scope. So you learn to recognize those keywords, build the muscle memory of opening the book, referencing the answers. Then in our course, it's going to click on right now the highlighting and tabbing instructions. Now, I highly recommend getting this done professionally, but just to give you an idea of how thorough one exam prep is with their tabs and highlights,
Mm-hmm.
I'm showing you the instructions here. So you see in the OSHA book, the 1910, that's everywhere you would place a tab, and that's everything that gets highlighted in that book. All laser focused in on the scope, the most commonly referenced pertinent information to that scope. So come exam day, your efficiency of reference, excuse me, is as good as it can possibly be.
Mm-hmm. Right. Oops. Um,
So once we get back to where we were, if you can just pause it. So what you see there is different units on electrical topics. Now, one exam prep is partnered with a gentleman named Ray Holder on all of our electrical prep. Anybody who's taken a journeyman exam, taken a master exam, looked into prep for that exam has probably heard that name. He's number one or two guy in that electrical prep space for these exams.
mm-hmm.
Um, so at one exam prep, we're able to have top tier content on all these topics that can appear on the exam.
Right.
Last thing I'm showing here in this video is just the exam simulators, right? The practice questions.
Mm-hmm.
What's key here is if you get the question wrong, we're going to show you the location of the correct answer before we show you the next question. So it's fresh in your mind, right? You're not getting to the end answer key, right? This is a much more efficient way to learn and build that muscle memory. Oh, I got that one wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Familiarize yourself with them immediately, right? Not 20 minutes later when you get to
Right.
the end of the exam.
Right. Yeah.
That's all I got there for the video. No, I hope you enjoyed that.
All right. Okay. Well, let's move on to the licensing process. So, one thing that confuses a lot of people is the difference between applying for the exam and applying for the license. Can you explain on how those two processes are different?
Right. So applying for the NASCLA exam is a very simple process. It takes a few minutes. I believe you go to their website there. I have it on the presentation. You put in your basic information, right? You pay them, I believe it's $65, and you're signed up to take the exam. Essentially, it takes them about 7 days. They send you an approval. Then you can go on PSI with your approval number and schedule the exam. So that's not the licensing application, right? The licensing application is going to be specific to your municipality, right? Whatever state you're looking to get licensed in. 99.9% of the time, that state will also require you to take a separate exam to the NASCLA exam for the license. That separate exam would be a business law exam.
Mm-hmm.
Typically, it's an open book exam with just one book, the state specific or sometimes the basic edition of the NASCLA Contractor's Guide to Business Law and Project Management. Now, depending on the state, Your state licensing application might have to be submitted before you're approved to take that exam. Either way, you're going to have to submit that application. State like Georgia, you submit it before the business law exam. State like South Carolina, you submit it after the business law exam. But that application, that's your licensing application, right? That's the complicated one, so to speak, where the state wants you to verify your experience, right? They're going to want to see your financials. You're most likely going to have to get surety bond, right? They're going to want to see that you have liability insurance in a certain amount in most cases. And of course, your business entity will have to be formed because you're going to be attaching the license to that business. So whenever you're dealing with contractor licensing, Noah, the passing the exams and preparing for the exams, that's a big part of it, but it's 50% of it, right? The other 50% is having all these back end things set up so you can actually get approved for the license. So I highly recommend people work with experts who are familiar with what bond you need, what insurance you need, what insurance you don't need, right? And that's key. You don't want to pay for coverage you don't need. Making sure your business is set up correctly to protect you, whether that's an LLC, an S Corp, or what have you, right? Choosing the right entity. And then, of course, the experience verification. The folks reviewing the application, right? You know, they're not necessarily electricians, okay? So you have to, they're looking for very specific wording, very specific things. Where if you write it in a way that another electrician would understand it, you would be good, but that's not who you're writing it for. So someone work with an expert who knows exactly what the state's looking for. And honestly, a question that comes up quite frequently is the state wants the signature of someone to confirm my experience. Do I really need to get that? And yes, you do. If you don't get that signature, your application will not be approved. The signature is a requirement.
Right, right. One thing that we didn't touch on, I'm going to go back to this map here. Why would somebody want to get the NASCLA electrical license when they can just go get an individual state electrician license? What do you see the advantage of doing this?
Well, the key advantage, right, is it opens you up to more opportunity, right? And the ease with which you obtain that opportunity, right? Let's say, for example, what's a good example here we can use? Let's say you're New Mexico, right? And your business, you're doing good business, but let's say you hear about a big contract, right? You have contacts with a developer or something of such as that, right? You have a big contract, and that's over in Georgia, okay? If you have the NASCLA exam scores, you apply for Georgia, you take the business law exam, you're licensed, you're Georgia, you bid on that contract, right? You're not missing out on that opportunity. Where if you don't have these NASCLA exam scores that are accepted in so many places, now all of a sudden it delays you getting licensed in that place, and maybe you miss that opportunity, right? And someone who's thinking ahead, if they have the NASCLA license, why not go ahead and just maintain licenses in all these states so when opportunity does arise, you don't have the hoops to jump through. You can take advantage of it.
Yeah, especially like if you're in, Arizona, you have the license, you can easily go into Utah, New Mexico, Idaho, neighboring states and get jobs done, expand your scope, have an advantage over other electrical contractors.
And no, just for folks watching, I said Georgia. I meant to say South Carolina. Please do not tell my 5th grade geography teacher when they take the abbreviations off the map. I'm not the greatest there. I'm a licensing expert, not a geography expert.
Yeah, absolutely. But all right, well, great. This is really good information. So just leave this your contact information, and one exam prep does have a special code, NASCLA 2026. You get 5% off any NASCLA contractor prep packages. You can email Andrew at oneexamprep.com. You can also call the main line at 877-775-9400. And Andrew, from what I understand, One Exam Prep has licensing prep packages for all NASCLA states, participating states, as well as can help with the licensing application process in all states, and can
Yes,
help
sir.
with the insurance and bonding requirements as well.
Yes, sir. Any state that accepts a NASCLA exam, one exam prep can take you A to Z through all of the requirements.
Great. Okay. Well, Andrew, great. Thank you again for joining, and good luck to everybody on taking any contractor exams in 2026 and beyond.
Awesome. Thank
Thanks,
you,
Andrew.
Noah. Pleasure again.
Take care. Bye.